Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is MMA Underground presented by Yankee and the Brit. And we have a special guest for you, Brandon Lambert. Milo, thanks for being on. We're excited to talk to you.
Absolutely. I apologize about the food. Running a little late today, so you get to catch me mid-lunch.
No, you do what you need to do. It's like we always say. We're just feel blessed that you guys let us into your world. So this podcast is about you guys.
It's really triggering my British politeness, like interrupting somebody in their lunch, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're teaching Maddie how to not be polite as Americans, so it's pretty good.
Well, if anybody can teach you how to not be polite, it'll be this guy here.
Well, that's a good segue because anybody who knows you, we might as not even beat around the bush. You're pretty fiery on social media. You have no problem firing back. Like one of the big things I remember that you kept saying something about this management company, and I don't want to botch the name, but it had something to do with Bareknuckle. And then come to find out, they did some really shady stuff to a female fighter who I believe was Brazilian or something like that. And you ended up being right, but you were the villain from the beginning.
Yeah, everybody was at me. See, like I'm known as the guy that says things that everybody thinks, but is too afraid to say. So then when I start being vocal, I'm the asshole. And then whenever everything starts coming out, then everybody jumps onto it, and everybody was on the bandwagon from the beginning. It's just I get pushed to the wayside after the light comes out. Because like after all the shit happened with Paul Tyler with Bareknuckle Management, yeah, we all knew he was fucked. We were all telling everybody, like you guys are telling each other in the circle. I told the world.
I think that's a part of today's society that's really an issue, where it's like you're the villain when you're calling somebody out, but then if you turn out to be right, then people don't come and like apologize to you. Like there's so many people who are treated like villains in their own time and then aren't villains. Like this is a big over the top thing about the wider society and that. But it's like we need to understand that people aren't just talking for the sake of talking a lot of the time. Like they have reasons to think this kind of stuff. And a lot of the times people who are assholes are usually just assholes. But like sometimes like they're saying it for a reason. They must know something. Like all the greatest people in history, some of them were also known as villains in their own time. So maybe we should stop being so quick to judge, investigate some shit before we start calling people villains and that kind of stuff.
Well, nobody ever listens to learn. They listen to react. So they wait for you to stop talking, and then boom, they got to get their idea out. They don't give a fuck what you're saying. They've already got formulated what they're going to say after you stop talking, and that's all they're waiting on is for you to shut your mouth so they can get their point across. Social media, like I know there's a meme going around like social media has made you guys way too comfortable, talking shit or whatever. But what it is that when social media first came on, it was everybody should be connected, Then it came in, you have a voice. Well, half these motherfuckers shouldn't have a voice. They can't even spell voice. So if you look at all the political memes or all the activist memes, ain't none of them know how to spell your, loose, or lose, their, none of that. They don't know how to spell. So if you can't fucking spell common use words, I don't need to hear your opinion. I don't need to hear your legal advice. Don't give a shit if you like Trump or don't like Trump. I don't care if you're for Biden or not. If you can't spell commonly used words, you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is like looking at Jay's Facebook, by the way. This is what he posts all the time. Like if you can't be asked getting your ass kicked, then don't put that kind of shit on my feed. All of that kind of stuff is like Jay's entire Facebook. I'm too scared to put that kind of shit up because I'm the kind of person who is too scared to get his ass kicked. So there we go. But it's very important in like this kind of COVID time as well, where it's like, yeah, everybody's entitled to their own opinion on vaccines and stuff like that. Like you don't need to have a go at people for their opinion on vaccines in the same way. So the vaccinated don't have to have a go at the people who are non-vaccinated, and the people who are non-vaccinated don't have to have a problem with vaccinated. You just need to deal with your own decisions and like the consequences of your own decisions. Just leave everybody to their own life.
Well, the issue with the unvaccinated and the vaccinated is it's not about health, it's about division. They're creating two separate groups. So now we're at war with each other. we're looking at each other. We have no eyes on what the government's actually doing. Not to get into conspiracy theories or anything, but I'm super anti.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I'm super anti-government. They've been poisoning us. They've been planning this whole thing for generations. All this shit here. This is why everybody's dying of COVID, because we're eating and drinking this shit that's not real food. Our bodies aren't designed to digest this shit. So there's no like during the pandemics, you can't go to a healthy food store and get any kind of healthy food, but you can go to McDonald's or Wendy's and get your big doubles and all that and your fries. You can get all that all day long, but you can't get a salad or anything healthy. And people need to realize that convenience isn't always great. Like, go out and plant your shit, harvest it, go hunt, eat real food. You won't be sick. I'm rarely eating this stuff. The only reason I'm eating it now because I'm in a bind and I'm running around, moving around and shit. But normally I'm at Whole Foods trying to eat healthy and keep my body good, because you are what you put in your body. If you put trash in your body, you're gonna feel like trash.
Well, that's actually a good segue, is your diet, because I see you're a guy on social media where I don't think you give a shit what weight class. If you can make it, you'll fight at it. Isn't that kind of rough though? Like, how do you go from one weight class to another without just killing yourself? Because like, I remember when Conor McGregor fought Jose Aldo at 145 and he looked like he was going to die at the weigh-ins. Yep. Like, that's rough on your body, right?
Yeah, I mean, I cut way too much weight the first time. Because I mean, I was 37 years old when I fought. I was like my birthday was in March. I fought in February, so I was 37 years old, almost 38, and I cut like 37 pounds in 20 days. 27 days, something like that. And that was my first time ever cutting weight. I normally walk around at like 170, but within 4 or 5 days, I can be down to 155. It just, my body fluctuates a lot. And I do intermittent fasting, and I hold a shit ton of water. I hold a lot of water. So I mean, I really want to be at 145, 155 is where I feel optimal. But there's a couple of fights that like 165 I would take, for Diego Sanchez. He can't get 155 anymore, but I would do 165 or 175 to fight him. I would do 185 to fight Jimmy Scully out of Arizona, or Robert Washington, that fucking piece of shit that sucker punched me in Birmingham. So there's a couple of different ways, or a couple different weight classes that I would climb into. But it's just for particular reasons. I want to stay at 145, 155 because there's people there that I want to fight. So yeah, I don't want to jump around on weight, but I'm just looking for that one fight that excites me, because I'm matched up now. I can't announce the opponent until the contracts are signed, but I'm not excited about that fight. Like, it doesn't make me want to go to the gym and train.
Well, but two-part question then, quick.
Yep.
So the next fight, I think I saw you're not doing with Bareknuckle, you're doing somewhere else. And then also, where did this Diego Sanchez start?
Okay, so for the first question, the post that you're talking about, I was supposed to fight on the Triller card last night.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was also supposed to fight on Celebrity Boxing on October 2nd, but I was supposed to fight Holy God, but then they pulled that and gave him wide neck, and I don't have an opponent yet. So it's almost 3 weeks to the fight. So I'm not going to go in there and fight somebody on 3 weeks notice. So I'm not going to do all that. So I think my next fight will be Bareknuckle. I'm supposed to fight in October, late October. But to segue into the second part of the question, me and Diego have been close for a couple of years now. We've been through the divorces together. We suffer from depression, things like that. So we talk, we're close, train together. And I made a post about Tyron Woodley's fight against Jake Paul. I called him garbage. And for some reason, it pissed off Diego. So he got on there and said some shit he shouldn't have said, and said that he was going to beat my ass. So I said some things that he didn't like, and he tagged David Feldman as like, let me debut against this motherfucker. And I'm like, done. Because here's a misconception that a lot of people have. A lot of people think that I get online and call everybody out because that's what it seems like. And that's what it seems like to the casual fans. But if you're a hardcore fan and you follow me, you know that 99% of the time that I'm on there talking shit to somebody, it's as a response.
No, I'll second you. I'll actually verify you because I follow you. And I told you before we even started that your social media is pure smoke and I love it. Like the fire going on in there. But you are right. There's a lot of times when I don't see the original post, but I see you post and it's always in response to so-and-so said this, or you'll post something and for out of left field, somebody will just be like, I hope you get knocked the fuck out by so-and-so for no reason. And then there'll be a big thread on that. No, I see it.
Yeah. So there's only one person that I've called out that has never mentioned my name. And that's Tom Shoaf. And I just recently, actually, I've asked him, I asked him to fight. I called him out in Birmingham also. And the reason I want to fight Tom is because Tom is a deadly fight. Tom is a fight where I could potentially not go home after that fight. I could potentially go to the hospital, you know, and that fucking excites me because now I have to fucking fight. I have to train. Like when I went and fought Jared Grant, I was so confident that I was going to walk through him that I really didn't focus on a game plan or anything. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the motherfucker's just good. Like Jared is good. But I was so exhausted and so dead from that weight cut anyway, like I couldn't perform the way I wanted to perform. So everybody's like, oh, you know, you look like shit your fight. You know, why are you calling these guys out? Which I'm not calling them out. I'm responding to them. But the reason being is because I'm confident that that showing wasn't me. That was from that weight cut. I can fight. So I just want to fight against people that I know can hurt me. You know what I mean?
Why bare knuckle?
I
That's
can't
crazy.
take leg kicks anymore, and I suck on the ground.
No, I just meant like there's no gloves, bare knuckle. Like that's
Oh yeah, well, 100% honesty. Shrooms. So I suffer from severe depression, and I was microdosing magic mushrooms to medicate, to you know, microdose and to get over the depression. And I seen myself in that circle ring. So when I walked out and did my fight and I got in the ring and I did all this and like soaked in the energy, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to go seal the ring off like I do for Muay Thai and, you know, do all that and be prepared. But I had seen that moment in a trip. The red lights, like I seen that exact fucking moment. So subconsciously, I just did what I seen in the vision, you know? And I seen in that vision that I was going to be one of the most popular athletes in the sport. Now, obviously, I thought because I was going to be dominant and beat the shit out of people. That obviously was not the case, but you still cannot deny that I am not you cannot say that I am not one of the most popular fighters in the sport. And I say that because you cannot Google an article about bare knuckle without seeing my name mentioned on the comments or inside the article somewhere. And so that's why I call for the fights that I call. That's why I think I deserve the Tom Shoaf fights. That's why I think I deserve the Diego Sanchez fights. Nobody promotes like me. Nobody's vocal like me. Nobody will fight anybody like me. Like I was asking for fights at 165, 175. They hit me, hey, will you make 135? Absolutely. You know, so I have no problem. I don't feel bad calling for those fights because I deserve those fights.
You're the Dallas Cowboys of bare knuckle, where
right.
where every article's about you. Like your popularity is what gets you those massive games, and what it should get you those massive games because you're the person who those massive fights. Sorry, you're the person who like gives you the ratings and stuff like that as well. Do you think that kind of side of you that likes to seek danger and that kind of stuff as well, and likes to be really on it and like to fight dangerous people, does that lend you to bare knuckle better as well?
Yeah. What it is bare knuckle safer than any other combat sport in my mind. Yeah, you get cut. Yeah, you can get knocked down and knocked out, but you don't see people leaving on stretchers very often. It does happen sometimes, but like that Justin Thornton, that wasn't from the fight. That wasn't anything Dylan did. That was a freak accident on how he fell. He's a big, big dude. When you fall like that, he spiked his own self. He gave himself a stinger. That was a freak accident. That wasn't due to a mismatch or the fight. Like everybody's like, oh, Nate Shook should be fired. No, it wasn't Nate's fault. Nate made a good fight. Nate offered a fight to a guy accepted it. That's what fighters do. Justin had every opportunity to turn that fight down. His management could have turned it down. His coaches could have turned it down. He could have turned it down. Nobody did. So there's nobody to blame. It was an accident. Justin's not to blame. Dylan's not to blame. BKFC and Nate Shook aren't to blame. Nobody's to blame. It was a freak accident.
No, we had former UFC fighter Jason Reinhardt on the show, and he said the same thing about bare knuckle because he's wanting to start a bare knuckle MMA, and we were talking about that, and he was like, "You don't see guys usually end up on stretchers, like you said," was almost his exact words, and to the point Maddie and you were both making about why you draw so many people to the fights. It's like we were talking earlier. You get yourself to a point where you have a fan base that wants to see you win, and you probably have equal amount of people who tune in to watch you get knocked out, like Floyd Mayweather or Conor McGregor. You seem to be the type that can spark both sides, and that makes money.
Yeah, and what a lot of these guys don't understand is you can ask David, you can ask anybody in BKFC, who's the best self-promoter in the business or in the company. They're going to say me. So when I call somebody out like a Tom Shoaf, that's a great fucking fighter, but he's not marketing him. Nobody's marketing him. I call out, let's say even Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez has a big black eye right now because of the Josh Fabia stuff. Well, what's great about this is I know Josh. I know Diego. I've trained with both of them. That's a great storyline. I can bring eyes to the situation to where more truth can come out, to where, you can kind of see that Diego was manipulated a little bit and bring more awareness to that, hey, Diego is Diego now. Let's get rid of the stigma stuff and break that stigma. But they would rather have him fight somebody locally. Like, let's say I don't know if they're going to make this fight or not, but let's say Ike Villaflag. They're both from New Mexico. They train together. They're going to make that fight so they can sell out whatever arena is going to be in New Mexico. But who in the fuck is going to tune in to watch that fight on pay-per-view? I wouldn't. And that's no disrespect to either one of those guys. But I think I could walk through both of those guys in the same night. Ike would be a tougher fight than Diego, but I think I could beat both those guys in the same fucking night. And that's no disrespect saying that they've fallen off or anything. It's just simple facts is I don't think they're that good at bare knuckle. And then,
but yes, and it's a whole different world than the UFC. Like Diego the Nightmare Sanchez can't take you to the ground and, like cave your face in with an elbow.
And these guys have a lot of miles on them, man. Diego's got a lot of fucking miles. Ike has a lot of miles on him. You know what I mean? I mean, Luis put him out in what, like 4 or 5 seconds? Or no, that was Jim. That was Jim he put. No, he beat. Yeah, I got beat. I got beat by Luis in Biloxi. So, I think that me and Diego would be good because I can bring the eyes and I can bring the animosity and the storyline to the fight. I can do that with any of these guys. So if I was any of these guys that I was a great fighter, but I just wasn't getting the popularity that I needed, I would be begging for somebody like me to come along and call me out.
Right.
Yes, Brandon, I'll fight, especially looking how I looked the last fight. How these guys aren't standing in line waiting to collect paychecks is asinine. I'm going to bring so many fucking eyes, it's retarded. And like, I've done all this popularity stuff on my own. Nobody's pushed me. Imagine if BKFC was pushing me a little bit, if they did a little bit more than just post me every 4 or 5 months. If I had a little bit of backing. We have so much video. We've taken so much video behind the scenes at BKFC events for BKFC, and they've never used any of it.
Yeah, and social media marketing is huge in today's world. I mean, like the guys in Street Beefs aren't even getting paid, but they're getting these hundreds of thousands of views online, which is getting them into amateur promotions, which is getting them pro fights. It's like you can use social media to generate so much money. And I agree that I would tune in to listen to you and Diego shit talk for 6 weeks before a fight.
Yeah, I mean, what they're doing with the talent right now doesn't make any sense, because they're saying, we want you guys to promote yourselves. But then when we do and we get no love back, what the fuck are we doing it for? Like, they made a post of me and Diego with no fucking intentions of me and Diego fighting. Because they told Diego, no, you're not fighting him. We've already got you lined up. We already know who we want you to fight. But and then after they tell him that, because he texts me, he's like, oh, you're lucky Dave won't let me kill you. Da, da, da. I was like, Diego, we can do this in the gym, bro. He spoke on my children's situation. So as a father, he's a father, you know, he's going through a divorce. You don't do that to another man that's going through some bullshit. So I want to punch him in his mouth. And I told him, I was like, we can do it and get paid, or we can do it at an event and behind the scene. I don't care. But you're going to get dealt with, because nobody's going to, I'm tired of people talking on my situation when they don't know it. And, you know, he sent me the text messages between him and Dave told him, you know, you're not going to fight him. You're not going to fight him. And why in the fuck are they making posts saying, oh, Brandon and Diego are going at it, you know? Because it just makes me look bad when it looks like we're getting ready to fight, and then I don't fight. And they're like, oh, you pulled out. You didn't want to fight him. You didn't do this. And then I got to explain to them, no, it was just publicity. So if you're going to do that and use that, and you're going to take the platform that I built, then allow me a platform to be able to shine too. I took the fight that you asked me to take. I took a fight 30 pounds lighter than what you asked me to fight, or what I was asking to fight for. Let me fight a name guy. If I get beat, throw me out.
Yeah, and it's like you're giving them so much in terms of doing stuff like this as well, so we're more, we're quite, like lots of people from like Street Beefs watch us, so that'll bring them to the bare knuckle boxing side of it. If you watch these videos, it's like you're coming on and doing videos like this, and if they're not giving you the fights back, then what are you doing it for? Like,
what am I doing this for?
I'll go find another promotion. I'll do this kind of stuff. It's not really fair on. This is like a wider thing. Like, it's not like fair on workers. It's not fair on people to do all this work for their bosses and then not get it back in terms of paychecks or fights or the big fights that they want.
I'm doing everything they're asking.
Well,
they want somebody to promote themselves and the brand. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it every day.
Absolutely. I watch bare knuckle fights because I was following you and Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo's amazing, dude. Bobo is my man. I love him to death, him and Britain.
But you guys are the ones who promote it the most. I see it on my feed all the time. The three of you are the ones who are filling my feed with what fights are coming next, what card is coming next, like everything. And so I like get where you're saying you guys are feel like you're doing more promoting than they are at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always on there. Hey, let me fight this dude. Oh, this dude needs a fight. Oh, okay, let's do that. You know, like when Ike, like me and Ike were trying to fight, they wouldn't let me fight Ike. This was months and months and months ago before I fought Jared. Ike's been begging for a fight. He's been begging for a fight for like 9 months. And I'm like, fuck it, dude, I'll fight you, dude. Like I think I can beat Ike. So I'm like, yeah, I'll fight you for sure. Let's get it done. Won't let me have it. You know, but they'll promote Joe Riggs and me going at it, you know, like that fight will never happen. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to promote shit, man, let me be able to prove, to back up what I'm saying. If you're going to promote me talking shit, give me the platform to be able to talk, to be able to back it up, or to be able to eat my words.
And also, you're the guy putting your body on the line for them.
Exactly. I don't see him.
They're not.
Good.
Yeah, so you're spending your time training, putting your body on the line. You shouldn't be spending your time then doing the promotion as well. That's surely Aren't they called promotions? Is that not what they're called? Like, so
Yeah.
surely
Yes.
their only job is to promote. So
They're
it
supposed.
doesn't
Yeah.
make any fucking sense to me, to be honest.
It's like I don't see very many people jumping in line to fight Tom Schoaf. I don't see very many people in line jumping in line, to fight these killers. And I'm like, I want these fights. Like, I want these fights. The only person I wouldn't fight right now is fucking Luis because he'd kill me. I mean, he's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm realistic on the shit, but like, I'm not going to perform well against a dude that I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to perform well because I'm not going to be scared. I'm not going to be worried. But if I have Tom Schoaf standing across the ring for me, you best believe I'm going to be on my A game because any mistake, he's going to put me out. And that's what I crave.
And right now is the time in the world for any kind of boxing with personality. You got Jake and Logan Paul. We just watched Anderson Silva drop Tito Ortiz in the first round yesterday. I mean, like Tyron Woodley, these guys, and it kills me because he's from my home state, but Ben Askren just got murked. Like, he took $1 million to get murked in the first round,
Well, I think Jake's paying these boys.
Maybe. I could absolutely see it because I feel like in the Tyron Woodley fight, there was a couple times he had him. And I don't care what anybody says. I said this on our podcast and when I was on Turf Tales. Floyd Mayweather carried Logan Paul. He actually knocked him out and held him up till he got his shit together.
Seen that. Well, here's what the craziest thing about this is. All this Logan and Jake Paul stuff. The reason I'm even active right now and fighting is because I was supposed to fight Logan Paul in MMA for Bellator. I was in the doctor's office in California at Dr. Gluckman's getting my medicals done for Bellator when they shut everything down for COVID in March. They were going to kick me out of the office, and I was living in Florida at the time. I'm like, I'm getting on a plane tonight going back home. I have to get all this stuff done tonight. So they called Bellator and was like, hey, we have to close shop, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, can you please push this through? We got to get this done. So they let me stay after hours. They got everything done. And then a couple of weeks later, Logan's like, hey, I want to fight within 6 months. If we can't do this within 6 months, I'm going to go to box. And Bellator shut all shows down for the rest of the year. So he pulled out. So I got super depressed, started taking shrooms, and boom, Bareknuckle was born.
That's a pretty cool story, though. I didn't know that it sucks for you that it didn't happen, but it's a pretty cool story on how you ended up where you are. And now you look where, like, it just proves that the Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Floyd Mayweather, Conor way of doing things is really exciting to people right now. And people who have the personalities around them in their promotion should be using these.
Absolutely. Like,
and I'm sure
David Feldman has a fucking cash cow begging him to start milking him. And he refuses to do it. Somebody's going to grab me up.
I'm sure there's some YouTube.
Yeah. Somebody's going to grab.
Sorry, you keep going.
Watch.
Yeah, there's so many YouTube personalities out there just looking for clout and stuff like that. I'm sure you could grab some of the biggest YouTube personalities to do like Bareknuckle if you get some of the hardest guys. Like Austin McBroom. I don't know if you saw like the YouTube versus TikTok stuff where his name's getting dragged through the mud because he didn't pay the guys that he was meant to pay when fighting with them, that kind of thing. He's begging for a new chance. Like, get on the phone to Austin McBroom, get him in Bareknuckle. Like, loads of people would pay to watch him get sparked out, you know?
Oh, I beat the dog shit out of Austin McBroom. We can do more. We can box. Any celebrity, like, but like I'm already working on a few different things. Like, since you follow my social media, you know when I say like I'm gonna end up Logan Paul in this shit and Jake Paul in this shit and Floyd Mayweather in this shit, I'm not bullshitting. If somebody doesn't pick me up and start utilizing me, I'm just gonna create my own promotion and utilize myself. Like, I'm here to do this. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do this for a certain reason, and I'm not gonna stop until I hit my goal. And if I have to do it by myself, I will. I would rather not. But if I have to do it by myself to reach my goal, then I'll fucking do it. And I'll have one of the best promotions.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, Jason Reinhart, if you're watching, then pick this man up and give him some good fights, for your new bare knuckle MMA boxing.
One guy I really want to fight MMA, like for bare knuckle MMA, is Gabe Rudiger.
Oh my gosh. You did not. That is Mr. Put me back in. Put me back in. So, Maddie, you probably don't know this, but he was on one of the UFC Ultimate Fighters. And he never made weight. And he was so bad that he begged, they set him out for a colonic and everything else. He couldn't make weight because he wouldn't stop eating. And then he was begging his teammates to drag him back into the sauna, all dramatic. And Dana was like, fuck you, you're done. You're never fighting in the UFC again.
Yep. and then he wants to talk shit on people. So he talks shit about my situation, calls me a deadbeat and shit, but then he won't fight me. So it just shows the character, how big a pussy that dude is. So if anybody wants to have an awesome fight, probably to the death, sign me and Gabe Rudiger up. I'll beat the dog shit out of that dude anytime, any weight, any discipline. We can do judo. I'll fucking thumb wrestle him, slap box, whatever he wants. But I'm gonna put.
I didn't even know he still was part of the MMA world until you just said his name.
Oh, I know. He's been so obsolete and minuscule for. I want to make him relevant again. I want to make him.
That name just brought me back like years to like the Ultimate Fighter. I don't even know where to go from there. That just caught me so off guard that I would pay to see that fight. Definitely.
Yeah, I want to fight him, and I want to fight Jimmy Scully. Jimmy Scully, you probably don't know him. He's fought in LFA and a couple shorter, lower organizations, but he's in Arizona. He trains with like Efren Escondero and a couple other people, but Shannon Rich. He's just a piece of shit. But we've been going back and forth for like 2 years, and he's refused to fight me. I weigh like 170, 165. I think he weighs like 200 pounds. I told him I'd fight him at 185 or whatever. And no, he had to go on vacation and do all this other. He's just a bitch. Like all these dudes call me out knowing that I can't fight him. Or knowing that, like it's always dudes that
no, they can't come in and fight.
Or it's dudes that like I have no chance of fighting ever because our weights are completely, totally different. Like I've got David Mundell in my inbox all the time, commenting on every fucking post. He's a decent fighter. He's just a shitty human being.
Well, you were saying that you're thinking that you'll fight in October again.
Yeah, I'm matched up with a dude that fought earlier this year. We're both 0-1. So that I guess the matchup makes sense or whatever. We were supposed to fight in the hometown of that dude, but I don't think they're doing that anymore. So I don't really see a point in doing it now because like to go into somebody's hometown and beat their ass. I'll fight a bum and do that. That's funny. You go into somebody's, because I made a couple memes, like going in, kicking the door down, and it's like your home, your hometown. I'm gonna come in here and take a shit on your hometown floor. But if it's not town, then there's no really reason for me to fight an 0-1 guy. It doesn't do anything for me at all. And everybody's like, well, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for anybody else to fight you. If it doesn't do anything for Tom. Yes, it does. It doesn't do anything for Rusty Crowder. Yes, it does. It doesn't do anything for John Chalbat. Yes, it does. I will blow their fucking following sky high. And if you look at everybody getting paid right now, it's based on their social media following and their engagements. I can guarantee you I will get fans to engage with you. So like, all these dudes, that's why all these dudes are talking shit to me. Like, I'm not dumb. These dudes aren't dumb. These high profile dudes that are talking shit, they know where the views are at. They know why they want to say my name. There's no reason for dudes that are saying my name to be saying my name in the position that they're at. Some of them are going for titles and shit. They're like, no, I like to fight Brandon. I like to fight Malo. Oh, that big mouth. They're using my name because they know it gets views. So instead of just spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for these people that are already coming in with views, that once they leave, those views are leaving with them, build the fucking guys that are in the sport now. If you've got a guy like me that's willing to talk shit to anybody, bring in eyes, and will get in there with anybody, use the fuck out of me. I could go in there and go 0-10. I could lose every single fight, and I would still be talked about, and they would still tune in to watch me.
Well,
they're
I'll
not gonna do
definitely.
that. Good.
I was going to say, I'll definitely say you did not disappoint what I thought we would get out of you. We definitely won't keep you all day because I know you just moved there also, and it's pretty. And we're getting into nighttime for Maddie over there across the pond.
Yeah.
Solid 10:15.
So,
Football
but
viewing time, man.
thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to see you fight again, and we would love to have you on again sometime.
Yeah, anytime, man. I know I'm a little long-winded, so I appreciate you letting me finish all my thoughts and stuff. But yeah, anytime you guys want, you guys have been trying to get me on for a while, and I've been ignoring you and stuff, not intentionally, but I got some free time, and it's been awesome, man. So anytime you guys want to chat, man, let me know. I'll be more than happy to get on.
No, and absolutely. And I want to say this because you're not the first fighter who said about being long-winded. And again, it definitely makes for a better podcast when they hear you and not us. And this is about you guys. So we appreciate you again. And thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate the times you guys spend, putting these interviews together for us and giving us a chance to get our stories out and giving us a platform to speak. So it means a lot. I don't know about everybody else, but I know it means a lot to me and a lot of my close friends that are in the industry as well. So thank you guys for doing what you do as well.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for watching. Anything else before we go, Maddie?
I just wanted to say for put on your point there, mate, that they can listen to us talk shit all the time, but they don't get to listen to everybody else talking shit. So it's good just to have somebody interview who just wants to chat. It's great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. You guys be good, man. And thank you very, very much. I look forward to talking with you guys again soon.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.